Carson Beck is going to be your starting quarterback at the University of Georgia. This is a big deal now as the Dogs try to go for 3 in a row. So whoever they handed the reins to, we knew there was going to be a lot of conversation around that quarterback. Not a tremendous surprise, and we'll unpack why, but Carson Beck, the most experienced, looked good in the spring game. He's your guy now going forward. That is confirmed. Good for Georgia now that they have a leader that they can build around and that they can look to kind of set the tone for them throughout the rest of this season as they finish up fall camp. Really quickly, though, Georgia fans, we've had a lot of y'all join the party now. Had a lot of y'all a part of this operation and subscribe. So if you haven't yet, no time like the present. We'd love to have you here. We talk college football every single day on this channel. We're live 3 times a week. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 11 a.m. Eastern. Like Georgia's going for that three-peat. We do a three-peat once a week on this show in terms of the live format. Like I said, would love to have you a part of that. Going back to the topic at hand, though. Carson Beck being named your starter, not a tremendous surprise, makes a lot of sense. And I said the experience piece of it, we understand that. But to take a little bit of a closer look at that, the experience piece matters in my mind because Georgia and Kirby Smart, the way he runs that operation in Athens, they have a certain way of doing things. And Carson Beck going into his 4th year now in Athens, he is the most well-versed in the way that they do things. That standard is incredibly high in Athens. You and I both understand that. There's a reason why they're going for a 3rd in a row. And Kirby Smart made sure to mention that he was really impressed with Gunnar Stockton and Brock Vandagriff throughout this fall camp. It sounded like the way that he talked about both those quarterbacks, they need to, and the way that he put it, if I'm paraphrasing here, they need to understand when to give up on a play. Like you're rolling out, defensive ends chasing you, might be time to just throw the ball away and not have to throw back across the body or whatever the next option would be to try and make a play that could potentially get your offense in a negative situation like a turnover or whatever it may be. It sounds like Carson Beck and his experience in this system and his, quite frankly, his acumen within this system lent itself to the least amount of mistakes. And also, we saw him in the spring football game, right? We saw him in the G-Day. Dude was dialed in, was in control, looked calm, knew where to go with the football. Like he was just a machine out there in that spring game. Now it's a practice. I don't want to overhype a G-Day, but even so, man, if that is a preview to what we're going to get in 2023 for Carson Beck playing quarterback for the Dogs, I think Georgia fans should be extremely excited. And there was a lot of confidence around Carson Beck. I talked to a former Georgia player who told me he's already put money down on Carson Beck to go and win the Heisman Trophy. Now, if you want to do that is your prerogative. But I just think that the excitement around what he brings to the table from a talent standpoint, there's a lot to like there. There's a lot to like there based on what you saw on the G-Day, and I want to make sure I say this very clearly. Stetson Bennett is the greatest of all time in Athens, Georgia. Kirby Smart took the podium after the national title game and said he's got GOAT status forever in Athens, Georgia. So if you want to argue with that, argue with Kirby Smart. But my point being, for as good as Stetson Bennett is, there are some physical gifts that God gave Carson Beck that Stetson Bennett, quite frankly, does not have. And that's, again, not a knock on Stetson Bennett. I did not say Stetson Bennett wasn't the best quarterback at Georgia last year. Did not say that. That is emphatically true. He was. That's why he was the starting quarterback. That's why he's got 2 national title trophies to his name. But with Carson Beck, what he has from a physical standpoint, it's hard to not be excited about what he might be able to do in that pass game and how the offense could potentially continue to evolve under Mike Bobo. So what's around him is what I think is going to set him up for success. I mean, 70% of that production from last year's national title defense is back. Brock Bowers is the alien the government has been hiding from us. They went and got Dominique Lovett out of the transfer portal. They got a lot back on the offensive line. Like, Carson Beck is going to be set up to succeed, and the schedule itself is another reason why. I mean, they may not be tested, in all honesty, until November when they play a team like Ole Miss. Now, the first few games, there's kind of a couple temperature checks we can take, like Game 3 against South Carolina. I expect Georgia to win that game. But even so, let's see how they look against an SEC team. This will be the first real test, quote unquote, for Carson Beck. How do they look? They go to Auburn. Now, I know Georgia fans are saying it's Auburn. I hear y'all. I understand Auburn's kind of on the bounce back a little bit here with Hugh Freeze and company, but I'm just saying you got to go to Jordan-Hare. You never know. You never know what that's going to look like playing a rivalry kind of game on the road. And this kind of spot for Carson Beck. Also, Kentucky. I'm just saying they played them close last year. those will be a good sense for us as to Carson Beck and where he is within this scheme. I want to just kind of get this out there too. When we said it, I believe it was last week when we talked about the Georgia QB room and where things stand. Like, Carson Beck is the guy at Georgia, 1,000,000%. To the exact same token, there is a ton of talent in that room with Gunnar Stockton and Brock Vandagriff, to where Georgia doesn't have to drop a game for them to make a switch at quarterback. Like, they don't have to have some just horrific loss and say, man, because of that, we got to make a switch. Because of what you have on this offense, because of what the standards are at Georgia, because of the way that you have recruited in the talent level, they're going to settle for nothing less than the absolute standard, which at Georgia has been the best as of late. And so for Georgia, they could be undefeated and still make a change at quarterback. Now, my expectation, to make sure this is also out there, I expect Carson Beck to play really well, go wire to wire, and to put up great numbers in this offense. I don't expect them to miss too much of a beat with him now as the guy in Athens. Now, could there be an acclimation period? 1,000%. But going back to what I was just saying, that quarterback position, that starting quarterback position, that's something that Carson Beck is going to have to continue to earn every single day. Now, he's earned it so far. He is the guy, and there's a reason why Kirby Smart named him the starter. But every single week, he's going to be pushed by guys like Brock Vandagriff, like Gunnar Stockton. He's going to have to pay rent for that job every single day. And if you're a Georgia fan, you love that, because competition is what promotes excellence within this program. That is what Kirby Smart has built it on. I'm going to recruit a bunch of the top guys at their positions, guys that had a lot of options, but they chose to come to Georgia because they knew coming to Athens, being a part of what Kirby Smart has built there, is going to get the best out of them, and as a whole, get the best out of their room, and ultimately get the best out of their team. So Carson Beck is your guy. I expect him to do great things, but Brock Vandagriff and Gunnar Stockton, they know what they signed up for, and they're going to push him and ultimately elevate everybody's play. I can't wait to watch now as Georgia makes a shot, goes on the hunt now for their third in a row. Hoping to catch the Dogs in person now a couple times during the season. Should be a lot of fun. But again, if you haven't yet subscribed, we'd love to have you here. We talk college football every single day. Follow me on Twitter and on Instagram at JD Piquel. We appreciate y'all. We love y'all. We're going to keep this party rolling, and we will see y'all next time. Hey y'all, thanks so much for watching. Subscribe to the channel here to make sure you don't miss an episode of The Hard Count. Also be sure to check out other videos on the On3 YouTube channel.